When you come to your quiet seat, let's imagine it then like you are connecting to the potential that's already within you. Even if it seems like it's buried under many sedimentary layers of habit or thought or stress, that potential is already within you. To connect to that inner potential, sometimes it can feel like there's a boundary or a layer between you and that potential. So invite the skin of your body to relax so that there's a sense of porousness for your body and your mind. If you become aware of any physical tension in the inner body, you can also welcome that to soften. Ask for this tension to give you permission to be here on your yoga mat right now. And whatever purpose the tension thinks it has, you can ask it to notify you later, so that here you have the refuge, the time on your mat. And welcome your breathing to begin the Ujjayi, just a very subtle form of Ujjayi. And let's imagine what the breath is doing, as I said last week or the week prior. When the inhale goes down, it's like dropping a bucket into a deep well. And the exhale, as it comes up, is both releasing or expelling that which the body is cleansing through the exhale. But you can also imagine that you're releasing the habit of tension or that which blocks you from sensing this innermost potential, this native experience of the heart. Remind yourself that the first three chakras are considered the earthbound chakras, and the transition we make from the third chakra to the fourth is a very important developmental shift. Without that upward shift, we can end up circling in the earthly chakras in what we would call the realm of samsara, the continuous cycle of suffering. So we want to sort of harness the benefit of the first three chakras, the power in each, but for the purpose of moving up towards the heart. So notice when the breath makes that transition with you during the inhale. So the breath may begin in the first region of the belly, first chakra, second chakra, rise to the mid-torso, third chakra, and then up to the upper third of the trunk, up to the heart, the fourth chakra. And then the exhale will be a sense of toning from the inner belly upwards to support the lift of the heart. And please bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra. And we'll chant the Gayatri mantra together. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsaveto Varenyam Argo Devasya Dhimoi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsaveto Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimoi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsaveto Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimoi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. And as you exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Please release your hands and make your seat into Sukhasana. So cross the ankles. It means that your seat's going to be more narrow, left to right. If for you, this also means that your knees are floating. My feet are resting underneath my shins. But if your knees are floating, please use your blocks to put under the knees. So we're going to be working, let me say this for those of you who are in the training programs that I'm teaching. We're going to work right now with Vyana Vayu. So we're going to bind a little bit the upper body, the chest, and the heart. And then on the release of that, the circulation flows back out. So we're actually going to start there this morning. Take the back of your left hand around the outside of your right thigh. Take your right hand onto your left to secure it. And then rotate your upper chest and heart to your right. And as you resume the Ujjayi breath, try to make the breath concentric, so it's got this sort of surround sound in the inner body. But allow for enough of the in-breath to be rising into the chest and the heart. So your in-breath doesn't peter out by the time you get to the mid-torso. You still have the inhale remaining for the upper chest and the back of the heart. Now keeping your left hand secured on its own, begin to side bend to your left and raise your right arm up overhead. You may not feel that limber at the first beginning of your practice, but don't worry. We're not measuring your limberness. We're practicing bringing the breath into areas of the torso that are right now a little bit compressed. So see if you can sustain the breath in the left low belly, left side waist, upper chest. even though it seems more natural to expand it into the right side. And there is permission for that too, of course. And then rise up and turn your left palm over onto the outside of your thigh. Take your right hand behind you, please twist to your right. And exhale around to center. Take a moment and notice how if you put your hands out over your knees, there's going to be some circulation. Probably you'll feel it more down your left arm. And change the cross of the ankles. Bring the back of your right hand to the outside of your left thigh. Secure that with your left hand on your right. Raise up and twist to your left. And focus on bringing the breath into the body in an expansive way, particularly where you're applying compression. So yes to the other areas, yes to the other lobes of the lungs, but also to the place that right now feels compressed. And then begin adding the side bend to your right. So you can keep the right hand secured on its own and raise your left arm up past your left ear. Again, focus the breath in the areas that also feel some of the compression of the shape of the pose. And then please rise up to your seat, turn your right hand over, and take the left hand behind you as you twist to your left. So you've already decompressed the pose in some ways. Now as you add a twist to the left, the twist of the upper chest and heart adds a different kind of compression. So keep the breath spacious and concentric. And then rotate around to face forward. Okay. Now switch the feet to go into Siddhasana. So let's put the left foot on the inside, the right foot on the outside. So you're sitting in Siddhasana. And cross the back of your left hand to the outside of your right thigh again. That's a farther reach this time. So as you come across, if you have long arms, you might not get what I'm saying. Some of you, we have similar body proportions. Like ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph, and so on. Like orangutans or dinosaurs, like this, short arms or long arms. So when you come across, do your best to reach over, and if possible, put your fingers backwards on the floor there on the outside of your leg. And then take your right hand to secure your left hand, twist up and to the right. Now keeping the left hand around, start walking your torso over to the right and place the heel of the left hand on the floor to the best of your ability. Take the right hand to the floor and twist over to your right. So leave your left hip back on the blanket where it is And as you're twisting to the right, lengthen your spine and your torso on the diagonal. And let's bring the breath into the back hemisphere of the body, especially on the left side. And then keeping your left hand where it is as well as you can, begin coming upright. My fingers will slide because otherwise I just don't have enough arm length. And let's again twist up and to the right, but add a side bend to the left. And sweep your right arm past your right ear. And then please rise up, rotate back to center, and give some attention to your left arm. So that just noticing what's coming down the left arm by way of circulation, effervescence, I like to call it. Maybe the temperature is changing. And then the other side. It's not that warm out here. That's why you keep seeing me re-establish this relatively warm shawl, amazingly. So take the back of the, switch your feet, please. Take the back of the right hand around the outside. Yep. Do your best to bring the fingers around. When I was a younger yogi, I just thought that I just wasn't capable of this position. I didn't think about the length of the arms. And one of my teachers was Richard Freeman. It should have been obvious to me that our body types were quite different, but I didn't consider it. I had my internal orientation that something was wrong with me was still strong enough that that's where I went with the thought. But honoring your body proportions, take your left hand to your right wrist and give it a little support to stay there as you twist up and to your left. And then rise up and secure your right hand even more firmly so that the heel of the hand is trying to come down to the floor here. Walk the left hand out and leave your right hip back on the blanket as you twist to your left. By breathing into the back hemisphere of the body, particularly any place that feels part of the compression, maybe right near the right side of the mid-back. So liver, gallbladder, right kidney. And keeping as much of your right hand fixed where it is as you're able to, return to the twist where we're going up and to the left. And we're going to add a side bend. Raise your left arm past your left ear. And then inhale, sweep yourself up, rotate around, and take the right hand out over your lap and notice the right arm. So unblocking after what we call the bind in the yoga pose. Now I'd like you to come into Baddha Konasana from yesterday's practice. So put the soles of the feet together, please. Hold on to your toes or your ankles, whatever you prefer. And inhale to raise up. So if you hold firmly, and I don't have long arms, so I get this benefit sooner than those of you who do have longer arms. You're going to reach up through the chest, the heart. We get to stretch the heart, the collarbones, and the throat. And then bring your chin down to what you would think of as level, and the torso is upright. If it's helpful for you to concentrate, go ahead and close your eyes, and let's bring the breath down to the pelvic floor, picking up yesterday's practice now. And gently begin to come forward. Let's try keeping the torso more straight, not more rounded. Notice any change that you can sense when you come forward, what changes in the pelvic floor. And our focus yesterday and many other times before and many times to come, I'm going to ask you to exhale from the pubic bone to the perineum. So you're toning the front hemisphere of the pelvic floor. And then inhale from the perineum towards the tailbone and up towards the back of the sacrum. Let the inhale rise up and expand the back hemisphere of the body, including the back of your heart. And then return your mind to the pubic bone for the exhale to begin from there to the perineum and up the front side of the sacrum, the front side of the spine. And then please rise up to sitting. And I'm going to ask you now to the blankets that you're sitting on, or if you don't have blankets to sit on just yet, I'm going to ask you to set them up because we're going to do something for the hemispheres of the pelvic floor right now. And I want this to prepare you for standing. So if you take your blankets, as we've been folding them from time to time in our online yoga class here, you're going to fold them length to length in half. So you've got these longer, more narrow blankets. And stack them on top of each other, please. Now, I'd like them on one side, let's say on this side on mine, to stack firmly right there. And then you're going to sit in Baddha Konasana with only the right hip on the blankets. So scooch over. So you've just got the right sitting bone on the blanket, drop the left thigh and shin down to the floor. So your Baddha Konasana is tipping over. It should be. Place the left hand on the floor next to you. Make a little side bend to your left, but reach for the right thigh. And stretch out through the right thigh towards the far end of the blanket over there. So to the extent that you're able to, let the left hip and the left sitting bone and the left thigh and the left shin be grounded right now. So what you're doing there is shortening the left side waist to come over, a grounded left leg. And then lengthen. Yeah. And start to pull the right heel away from the left heel. So you're going to lengthen the inner thigh a little bit more, as that movement of the heel will also move your knee. And then sweep your right arm past your right ear. And you can raise up and come back up to where you're grounded. So while we're here, let's take the right foot now under. So you've got it here. And your pelvis can be level. The left sitting bone is not touching anything. You can see here that my left sitting bone and my right foot have a little space between them. Cross your right hand around your left knee, and please twist to your left. Swish the lower belly to your left, and as you're swishing the belly to the left, lengthen your right inner thigh forward. And notice that the two hemispheres of the pelvic floor, even front and back, so all four quadrants, they have an unusual position right now. If possible, let the right sitting bone and the tailbone rest on the blanket. The left sitting bone is not touching the blanket. And then please rotate around to face forward. And let's go to the other side. So you have to do this thing I call the typewriter bar. Move the typewriter bar of your blankets to the other side of your mat. And stack those two edges on the other side of the blanket firmly so that you can come over and sit in Baddha Konasana, putting the left sitting bone on the blanket and the right sitting bone not on the blanket. So you are going to be tipping down to your right. I do so want this shawl to cover me. I don't have cold feet right now, but the other parts of me are cold. It's my pitta dosha, keeps my feet warm. Okay, so as you lean to your right, so you've got the left sitting bone on the blanket, take your left hand to lengthen the left inner thigh. There's a hummingbird getting some nectar right nearby. So now pull the left heel away from the right heel, lengthen your left inner thigh a bit more. And you can raise your left arm overhead. Good, and then raise yourself back up. So you only have the left sitting bone and the left side of the ilium on the blanket. So now tuck the left foot under the right hip. So there's going to be this space. It's right here between the sitting bone and the foot, not touching. Okay, and cross your left hand around your right shin. And twist to your right. Swish the belly across your right inner thigh, and notice the four quadrants of the pelvic floor are different. They're having different experiences. So the left leg is in abduction and flexion. The right leg is in deeper flexion. And it's hopefully neutral, but it's moving towards adduction, theoretically. I mean, if you have a hip replacement, don't go too far with your knee across the midline there. Just be tuned in to your apparatus. And then let's exhale, rotate around to face forward, and simply come to your meditation seat from where you began your class, your practice, and let's see, okay, what's happening now? So the first chakra connects us to our sense that we are connected to all that is, to the everything and everyone. And we have an inherent and intrinsic sense of responsibility. to nurture everything and everyone. The second chakra is the wellspring of our vitality, which fountains up from there. And this vitality depends on us to use our senses wisely and well. One of the purposes of the third chakra is to sense then our personal contribution, our personal dharma in life. And then we rise up to the heart, the transpersonal, beyond the personal. Let's come up to standing. We're going to continue our practice. I'd like to do some more formal pranayama with you this morning towards the end of our practice. I'll be a little bit warmer by that time and more comfortable to sit in the sun. So please come up to stand now in the jazz dance warm-up pose. I will change the angle of the computer if I can see what is needed there. Let's see. Yeah, you probably want to see that I have eyeballs. It's good to be a source of your own entertainment from time to time, to find yourself humorous. So take your jazz dance warm-up pose and press out with your hands on your knees. You root the tailbone down, bring your gaze down and start moving the shoulders forward and back. So you're trying to mobilize the thoracic spine. Please keep the elbows straight so that what you're getting is a real sense of information about how much flexibility you have for the upper torso in rotation. You also want to have a sense that you're basically heating up the upper back. Some warmth is coming. And then bring this to center and press out. Let the breath come down into the pelvic floor. We're going to go side to side like we did yesterday. And as you're going side to side, excuse me, use the Ujjayi breath so that there's a pace for yourself. Maybe one part of the breath cycle takes 3 or 4 glides left to right. And then maybe the exhale is equal to the inhale or a little bit longer, taking an additional glide left or right. And as you're gliding, keep the heels both grounded for now. Give permission for your knee to go over the toes, but not past. You can straighten the other leg. And then start lifting the heel of the leg you're going towards. So that's my heel coming off the floor, off the ground. And that lift, you're going to need to have support from the stability and elasticity of the pelvic floor. If you keep the arms straight On the lift, you're also going to be asking the shoulder to go up and the side waist stays long. Let's go one more time to return to center. Beautiful job with that. Thank you, everyone. Press down into both heels and please rise up to standing. Let's turn the toes in. Reach back and interlace your fingers at the small of your back. Roll the chest, heart, and shoulders open and come into a little standing back bend where the hips can come just forward in line with the toes. Raise your chest and your heart. Open your throat, lift your gaze. And then exhale and bow forward. So you're going to come over the tops of your thighs. Take the arms overhead. And then inhale, rise back up to standing. Release the clasp of your hands. Okay, now I'd like you to have 2 blocks, please. And I'm going to pad my mat because I am on the brick patio and just a thin yoga mat that I traveled with. You may want padding for your mat too. So 1 block is on each side. I'll pad this as just for the knees, like this. Okay, take a wide stance with the blocks behind your ankles. I know that you can't see my head right now, but you will soon. So, you turn your right foot to the right, left toes in, sweep the arms wide, and come down to Warrior 2. Great. Now in Warrior 2, the legs have really different responsibilities again, so I'd like you to glide your right inner thigh long and the left sitting bone towards the right sitting bone. And see if you can have a sense you're toning the left hemisphere of the pelvic floor, but kind of opening the right hemisphere. And then start rotating the pelvis to the right to come down to Parshva Konasana. Sweep your left arm past your left ear. And now notice the shape of the pelvic floor. There's been a change because you've rotated the pelvis to come here. So lengthen from your left inner belly to your left inner heel. And from the upper inner right thigh into your right knee. Rotate your chest and heart towards the sky. And you can gaze up. Now let's sweep the left arm, please, past your face. Slowly come down. Place the left fingertips on the floor. Pivot your left heel up and touch your left knee down to the ground. Glide your hips forward. Place your right hand on your right knee and root down to rise up. Raise your left arm, Anjaneyasana. And then exhale and cross your left arm over the outside of your right knee. And as you twist to your right, rotate the chest and the heart, the upper chest and heart to your right strongly. rotate around to face towards your right foot. Place your right fingertips on the block once again. Straighten the left leg. Pivot around your right thigh. Return to Parsvakonasana. Lengthen the right inner thigh. And exhale, rise up to Warrior Two. And rise up to center. Turn your feet to your left. There you go. Inhale, sweep the arms wide. Bend the left knee. And connect again to the pelvic floor. So if the pelvic floor is shaped like a canoe, something like this, what is happening now as you glide your right sitting bone just a little bit towards your left sitting bone and lengthen the left upper inner thigh. Keeping the right inner heel grounded, start rotating the pelvis to your left and come down to side angle pose. It's nice to see you practicing in your spaces. Some of you are inside, some of you are outside. As you reach through the right arm, reach into your right inner heel as well. And lengthen the left inner thigh all through there. And then sweep your right arm down, pivot your right heel up, and touch your right knee to the floor or to the blanket. Place your left hand on your left knee. Let's press down firmly on the left thigh, please. And then rise up, Anjaneyasana. And exhale, cross your right elbow over your left knee. And then exhale to unwind. Take your left fingertips back to the block. Now straighten the right leg out from under you. Make it powerful. Keep the left inner thigh steady, left outer hip steady, and return to side angle pose. And then rise up, Warrior Two pose. Come back to center, Prasarita. Come forward and down. Reach back to interlace your fingers. Roll the shoulders open. And then inhale your heart forward and rise up to standing. Release the clasp with the hands. Okay, put the blocks on the front side of the mat. And turn your feet to the right. And turn the back foot more strongly, so it's going to be angled. Yep. Bring your hips around to face to the right. Again, I know you can't see my head. It's still here. Reach back and interlace your fingers, please. Okay. Roll the chest and the heart open. Press the left heel down, tailbone forward. I hope that you can experience your left hip flexors a little bit here. Make a little standing back bend. And then come forward with great stability from your feet to your thighs, to your hips, to your pelvic floor. Bow the torso forward and down. Sweep the arms, fingers clasped. Try to raise them up towards the ceiling or the sky. Release the clasp of your hands. Place the left hand on the block. Pivot the left heel up and come down to Anjane Asana with the left knee on the floor. Reach your right arm back. And take the left toes. Hello to your quadriceps. And release the left foot back. Press through the left heel, the left arm. Pivot your left heel to the floor and come into Parvita Trikonasana. And then rotate down and rise up to standing. Turn your right foot in, turn the left foot out. Change to the other side. Yep. You take the tailbone down and feel into the front of the right hip. Reach back to interlace your fingers. Roll the chest and the heart open. Keep the right butt and the pelvis stable. And then come really slowly forward. Feet stable, legs stable, pelvis stable. Good morning to your hamstrings. Sweep the arms overhead. And let's release the arms down. Please take your right hand to your block. Pivot the right heel up. Bend your right knee to the floor, Anjane Asana. Reach back to hold. You can bring the right foot towards your butt. And let's glide it back to Parvita Trikonasana. Press down through the right arm, right heel, keep the right hip stable, and twist to your left. And release this one. Rise back up to standing, make the feet parallel, and come down. Prasarita Padottanasana. Now, if it's possible to do so in your Prasarita Padottanasana, you can hold under the big toes of each foot, but cross the arms in front of the chest. It might mean that you have to have your feet closer to each other. And then please rise up to standing. Place your hands on your hips. Come up to stand. And step your feet into mountain pose. The sun is coming now. And let's come down to the floor, please. Lie on your back with your knees to your chest. Hug the knees to the chest and enjoy. Now when the knees come to the chest, for some of you it's going to make more sense if the knees come to the shoulders rather than to the center of the chest. So respect the shape of your hip joints, please. As you give a good squeeze of the knees to the chest, let's inhale while you're on the floor. And then exhale, curl your head, shoulders, and chest up to your knees. So the nose and the knees might touch. And then inhale, curl the upper chest, shoulders, and head back down to the floor. And exhale to curl up. So you're giving a good squeeze of the inner body, like squeezing a sponge. And then inhale to curl back down. And please do that twice more. So you're squeezing out at the end of the practice here. This is just before Shavasana, which is going to precede pranayama. So squeeze out, anticipating that you're going to rest and integrate next. And then please do come to your Shavasana pose. And when you come to your Shavasana, make that very comfortable and very stable, so you will not be distracted. And remind yourself that at the first chakra, we do face the strong emotions of fear, anxiety, uncertainty. And some of our deepest indwelling needs there are for grounding, safety, assurance, connection, which you have offered yourself today by being here. The second chakra, we do face the emotions of grief or sorrow or loss, the hidden emotions arising from this sort of repository of unmet needs, unacknowledged losses. But we also here have our vitality and our needs for adventure, for creativity, for spontaneity. At the third chakra, we have the hidden emotions, in other words, the emotions we prefer not to show to others. We have the hidden emotions of irritation, anger, rage, resentment. We also have the hidden story of not good enough. And yet at the third chakra, we also have these beautiful expressions of purpose, contribution, service, wisdom in action. Arriving in the heart, we then can sense that which is most native to us. Compassion, empathy, loving kindness. Invite yourself to rest in these qualities. Lam, 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 lam. 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 Wam, 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 wam. 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 Ram, 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 ram. 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 Yum, 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 yum. 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 Like you to slowly become aware of your body in Shavasana. And you may slightly deepen your breathing. And please make a transition from resting where you are to return to sitting. So in yoga, we associate the first chakra with the yamas, second chakra the niyamas, third chakra is asana, the fourth chakra is pranayama. The fifth chakra is pratyahara. When we use the bandhas, we are drawing the senses inward to this chamber of the body. So with this pranayama, what we're going to be doing is the inhale from the pelvic floor up, up, concentrically to the heart. Inhale, suspension. And then we're doing exhale from the base up, up, up and out without suspension at the end of the exhale. Please balance your inhale with your exhale, and the suspension will be equal in length as well. So you could have inhale 8, suspend 8, exhale 8, something like that. One more time, please. When you complete that last round there in the series, then rest in the inner quiet of the central channel. And placing your hands in this mudra for the base chakra. The sound is lam. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. Place the hands in the mudra for the second chakra. Wam, 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 wam. Wam, 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 wam. Wam, 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 wam. Third chakra. Ram, 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 ram. Ram, 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 ram. Ram, 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 ram. Fourth chakra. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. And resting your hands in your lap. And please raise up your intention to your heart. Place that in your heart. Place it in your palms, in your vision. In your heart, and in your community. To all of us and everyone, everything, and also to Brighton Bush and the land and the resources here. And then back into your own intention. Thank you, everyone.